All right, let's dig a little deeper into object-oriented design and let's see what the code actually looks like to make object-oriented design happen. So this is circle.java. So we've got our class header. Now what we're doing at the front is we're declaring these variables. Now you'll notice this time these variables are not being declared inside of a method. So that means that these variables are not local to this method. Now, if we made this static, then this would exist throughout the class. But because it's not static, this variable here only exists in an instance of the class, basically in an object. So you have once you create an object, it will have a radius. And anytime you refer to this object's radius, wherever it is, it will know what you're talking about. Okay. The next part that we have is a constructor. So a constructor is the method that we're going to call later whenever we want to make the object. So whenever I want to make a circle, I call this method. Now, for this particular one, whenever I call it, I'm going to need to give it a radius to help initialize this variable that I made. So most constructors are very simple. Okay, they're just filling in the values of they're just initializing those values. This keyword, we're going to cover that a little bit later. All you need to know for now is it's trying to tell the difference between this guy and this guy. So we wouldn't actually need it if I named this something else. Then I could just say radius equals the radius. Okay. Usually I like to just do it like this. So this dot radius refers to the radius in the object, and this one refers to the parameter that just got fed in. Okay, I'm going to ignore this for the time being, but I do want you to notice that you can have more than one constructor. You can overload your constructor. Okay, now down here, I've got my methods. Now, if you look at the heading, you might notice something a little strange. There's no static. That's because this method is not static. Static basically means that it can work all the time. Non-static means it works when it acts on a particular object, which is going to change the way that we call the method. So the other thing I want you to notice is radius was not a parameter here, but I'm using radius. And that's one of the advantages to this design is that we've got these variables that we know that we have. All of these attributes, I can use them in any of these methods down here that aren't static because they have access to all those variables. So when I call radius, it's going to use the radius of whatever the current object is. Okay, same thing down here. Okay, we've got this method. It's not static, and it doesn't happen to need any parameters. We can have parameters in these methods. We just haven't needed them yet because the only thing we've needed is the radius, which is an attribute that we already have. So to review, 3 parts. We declare the variables we need to establish our attributes. We have a constructor or constructors that are going to initialize those attributes in an object that we're going to create. And then we have methods that define what behaviors this object can have. So all of that is pretty much how you construct a class that's going to have an object.